Hi everyone. Today I wanted to do a video on some non-medication therapies that often help with the symptoms of dementia. So I'm going to discuss the therapies and give a little bit of strategies that you can use to try to implement them. So studies have shown that these non-medication therapies actually help with quality of life and help with symptom management. So I'm going to start with cognitive stimulation therapy. That involves doing activities that stimulate the use of our brain in thinking. So word puzzles, fill in the blanks, coloring, and something called reminiscent therapy, which I'll talk about more later. But basically it's using our old memories, bringing them up into the present. So we use pictures or objects or things like that. So as we're thinking about trying to do some of these cognitive stimulation therapies, we want to make sure that what our loved one is doing, that they like doing. So none of us wants to do things that aren't interesting to us, right? So we want to make sure that we find things that are interesting to our loved ones. So if it's something like word puzzles, does your loved one like the ones where you circle the word? Do they like filling in? Do they like crossword puzzles? Always make sure to take our loved one's interests into account. The next therapy that I think is great is music therapy. So that's basically playing music. Often with our aging population, any of us really, we like the music that we listened to when we were younger. It's important to ask our loved ones what kind of music you like to listen to. If they're unable to verbalize the type of music, you can always start to play a type of music that you think was around when they were younger, and see what kind of response you get. So you might get a verbal response, yes, I love this music, or you might notice that they just seem like they're loving it. So they've done studies on music and how it can have a really positive effect on mood and quality of life in people living with dementia also. Art therapy is another non-medication therapy, very similar to music therapy. We want to see if we can find things that our loved one likes. So if it might be even historically they did some kind of art that we can try to reinvent for now. So we can also think about what they may have done years ago. So for example, my mother's, in her generation, when I was a kid, I remember there were lots of groups that got together and did ceramics. And so everybody's house had ceramics that their mother had made, a cookie jar or little figurines or whatever. And so seeing if we can simulate that idea. So is there a way that we could do some painting of ceramic type things? There are also a lot of really good art project kits. So where I work, we often will buy a bunch of inexpensive kits that might be for making an ornament, or it might be for making a wall hanging. So then as a group, we do this project. A lot of times we will have an example of a finished product, but we don't always have to, because it's nice to have people come up with their own ideas on how to do it. Pet therapy is another great non-medication therapy. Not everybody can have live animals around them, but if you can, I highly recommend it. What we do where I work is there are lots of people on the memory care unit who have either stuffed animals, and there's actually, I don't know if you guys have seen those cats that are stuffed, but they're not warm, they're not soft, and they actually have a battery that makes them purr, and so you can watch the body as the cat is purring. Those are the neatest thing, because there's something about that white noise of the purring too that's very soothing. So if your parent was someone who really loved animals, imagine the comfort of that, having a cat next to them purring. So reminiscent therapy is the final non-medication therapy I want to talk about. So it involves using pictures or objects or just stories to reminisce about old times, old memories, old experiences that your loved one might have had. Reminiscent therapy can be beautiful. You can use photo albums, you can use old jewelry, and you can ask, when did you get this? So imagine hearing some of the stories you might hear that you may have never known based on doing this reminiscent therapy. I think it's a beautiful way to bond with our parents. So they've done a lot of studies on reminiscent therapy and how it has a really positive impact on mood, quality of life, and behaviors. And finally, my favorite is exercise therapy. If all of our body needs good blood flow to take away unhealthy cells, bring healthy ones in, circulate everything, then it makes sense, right? That our brains need that too. So exercising, when we're getting our heart rate up, does that for our brain. If it does it for the rest of our body, it does that for our brain too. There are many ways though that we can use exercise in a non-traditional way. There are some people that like sitting and doing just a set of leg exercises or a set of arm exercises, but there are also lots of ways to make it a little different. So for my mom, we have a recumbent exercise bike. So it's one of the low ones. So if she falls off, she's close to the floor anyway. She doesn't need the balance of a regular stationary bike because it's more like a seat, not just a little seat on top of a pole. You can also do dancing. Dancing is a great way to exercise. Yoga is another great way. Finding non-traditional ways to exercise are great. Going for walking is a great one. Hiking is a great one if your loved one can do that. So hopefully you found some of this information on non-medical therapies useful. If you did, please like and subscribe to my channel. If you have any comments, any questions, put them in the comment section below, and please share this video with anybody you think might get value from it. Thank you.